Welcome back to the rest of the story. We're down at my place. We're going to do another why do you do that video. Because if I got enough light in here. I've been answering this question. Heck, I even answered this question in a video, that Crone video. And just answering the comments just doesn't seem to be quite cutting it. So I'm gonna answer it, and then once people start asking me enough again, I'm probably gonna answer it again, because I can't keep up with the comments because I can only type so fast on my phone, and we are getting into the busy season. It's wet out, it's raining, there's thunderheads coming up on the horizon right now. I'm expecting that once the ground dries out again, that we could actually run, that there's a very, very good chance that we're probably going to try running something through, be it corn or beans or whatever else. And not just us, pretty much everybody in the county, I'm pretty sure is going to be running something through the next time this weather pattern breaks. Today was supposed to be a pretty strong weather day. We got enough that it washed out a bunch of, well, I didn't wash it out, but I had water running down my yard, and it takes a lot of water to do that. So the fields are going to be plenty saturated. It's definitely keeping my yard growing. I was kind of hoping to be done mowing it the next time I cut it, but unless we get a significant frost here before too long, it might be 2 or 3 times yet. Well, it seems all the disc bind's put away, I got to stick with the lawnmower. Back to the subject at hand. I'm out here down by the 566 round baler that's been down here minding its own business since we went through and we serviced it all up, got the teeth fixed for the most part. I mean, there's a couple half, because those teeth are, in one tooth that has 2 tines on it, 2 teeth. So I got a couple that it's not worth going through and replacing them both. But why do I bother shutting the PTO off on the round baler? Okay, I don't have to. I do not have to shut the PTO off when I go to drop a bale from this 566. I did not have to do it with our 535. The reason I do it, simply put, and this is something I don't think a lot of people can really accept, I grew up watching my grandpa do it. That's how my grandpa did it. That's how my dad did it. That's how I learned how to do it. 90% of the things that Ryan and I learned how to do around here, we didn't exactly learn from being put in the seat and having dad or grandpa or anybody else sit on the seat and ride with us for 2 weeks to tell us how to do something properly. We learned how to do it simply by dad or grandpa, mainly dad, putting us in the tractor seat, giving us a 5 to 10 minute crash course, and a hefty warning that if you break it, guess what? You're going to be the one that's going to be digging around the dirt and the mud and the grease, fixing it back up again. So, the reason it's a force of habit is because I watched my dad and grandpa do it, and it's how I've always seen it done. When you go to drop a bale out, you always shut the PTO off. Another underlying reason why I do that, you see these gaps in the belt right here? Gap right here, gap right here, gap right here. As the belts run, they do kind of sway back and forth, and you can see through these belts when you have a bale in here. With any baler, I don't trust the net wrap. I don't trust that the net wrap engages. That Crone baler worked great. The only time we had any net wrap issues was the first 2 bales, and the reason that was is operator error. The net wrap wasn't fully through the that plate, that bar, that through the feeder plate that it's supposed to be through. It wasn't in far enough. Fair enough. My problem is I absolutely hate dropping bales out with no net wrap on them, or a part of a bale, or even more yet when only a foot of the bale has net wrap on it, because that's essentially, to me, depending on what you're doing, it's a junk bale, because you got to do something with it right away. Because we go through, like our fodder bale, bales, we have enough room for about 45 bales. Everything else above that is going to be stored outside. That's going to be the first stuff that gets fed. And we want, well, even to handle them, you need a fair amount of net wrap on them. I mean, you can get away with net wrap across the whole thing, and then this end doesn't get any net wrap on it. You're not going to lose too much of the product, but you know what? I absolutely hate having to set something outside for storage and have it get rained on, because that net wrap, albeit it is what it is, but that net wrap does give the bale a form of weather protection. It does give it a little bit of a resistance to water. Now, it's not going to be as effective as putting it in a building or wrapping it or tarping it, whatever else, but for how we do it on our operation with feeding bales, it just makes more sense to us to make sure that you're getting a full roll of net wrap across the whole bale. Now, it's a matter of a bunch of different things. It's not necessarily just because it's the baler's fault, the baler's a POS, and that it's worn out and the net wrap is catching somewhere on the baler. This compared to our 535 is amazing. I love this baler. Our 535 was, that made long days consistently, and not even when it had to, just because it wanted to. The 566 of this one, it did have quite a few bales on it. I don't even remember how many it had anymore. But we went through and we put a lot of work into it. We fixed it back up, all of our own. The only issues that it really turned into a thing was the plug into the round baler, the power plug. Oh, where are we at here? The power supply for going, this goes into the monitor, and from the monitor there's a power supply that goes back to the battery. Or like on my 7600, it's an in-cab pre-mounted power plug that you just plug that power cord from the monitor into that plug, and you'll have a power source. The problem is the wires in that from the battery or the starter up to that convenience outlet, and the 76 was too small. They weren't heavy enough. So what was happening was that as you went through, I could get about 20 bales made, and they would get hot. And then in turn, the net wrap actuator on the back end requires a certain amount. Deer balers are known for this, for needing just the right amount of voltage for that to work properly. So you go through and you put about a half a roll of net wrap on one bale as you're making the bale. You have a very strong desire to figure out what's going on wrong. And all it was, I think it was like a $20 fix. It was a higher gauge wire kit that went directly from the batteries up and around. I ran it through the back of the tractor. As simple as that. The material, hay isn't quite so bad, but corn fodder is really bad at kind of messing up your net wrap. It's not something that happens all the time, but I don't know if you guys can see this. This is from corn fodder. All these all these belts were brand new 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. I got them out of Kansas. eBay's awesome. Not really what I thought I'd have to find baler belts, but believe me, guys, if you're looking for these belts in particular, just search them up on eBay. You can buy them for like $220 delivered to your door. $220. I kid you not. But this was a casualty of net wrap. There's a hole through it. Splices. Corn fodder is really good at ripping these splices out, tearing these up. I could go through and replace this, but the thing is, it does work. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that does catch net wrap, and it does give you a little bit of a headache. But going back to why I shut the baler off, is that when I shut the baler off, standing approximately here, and I'd be sitting right in there somewhere from the tractor cab, I can see down through those gaps in the net wrap, or the net wrap in the belts, and I can see if there's any net wrap on the bale. So that kind of saves me the trouble of having to get out and check every bale. It saves me the trouble of kicking out a bale and finding out there's no net wrap on it, and I have to go out and figure out where the net wrap went. This baler does not give us as many issues as our 535. I just want to be very clear on that. I don't powder the rolls hardly at all. I get a lot of weird looks when I tell people I do that, but in our 535, that was the only way to get that to work properly in hay. If the hay had any dampness or any moisture to it whatsoever, even we're doing dry hay, if it isn't exactly the right level of moisture in the hay that you're making, it rolls the net wrap on the back rolls almost every bale or every other bale. And the only way we could get around that was by powdering the rolls with talcum powder. I do that on this one when I put a new roll of net wrap in, and that's it. And I know there's a debate on one of my other videos as to all the other balers out there that you don't have to shut the baler off to drop a bale out. Well, you shouldn't have to. The reason is other than the fact it's just that when you were growing up watching how something's been done for like 10, 15 years, you begin to think, believe, and you get that in your head that that is habit. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And also, like I just said, that is why I do it. I do it so I know I'm putting out a properly wrapped bale, and we're not going to have a blown up bale out in the middle of a hayfield that we got to go out and pick up, or a blown bale of corn fodder that we have to go out and try to pick up or spread around so we can chisel plow. I mean, it's just so simple to just make sure that I can see the net wrap through the belts here, and I can, if the sun if the sun is shining just right and the baler is running, I can sometimes see it, but it's just me being certain that the bale is getting wrapped. Not trying to come off kind of strong, not, whatever, but that is why it's a force of habit. That's why I shut the baler off, so I just make sure that the net wrap is running properly. And that's not to say, oh, it's a POS baler, it's a deer baler, you can't ever count on it, but maybe I'm just being overly cautious. Maybe not. So, well, that's it for tonight. We got a lot of long days coming. They're already kind of long, it seems like. The grain bin isn't done. No, it is not done. We haven't done anything to it since my last update video on it, whenever that was. And everything's ready to go. I mean, the bin is like the big hiccup right now. If we can go through and, well, the weather's got to dry up. The combine's ready to go. The 82 and the 46 have to be hooked up to the grain carts. And that's everything. Basically go through and fuel everything up and set the combine. And we're not even sure what we're going to start with. It's a toss of a coin. Do we start cutting beans or we start with corn? If it was up to me, I'd say start with beans because I hate soybeans. That's right, you heard it from me. I hate soybeans. They're a necessary crop to raise because, I mean, I like them in the rotation. They do give a nice injection of cash with a lower amount of inputs, but corn is just so much easier. It's when you put products down and fertilizer, corn responds to it. Soybeans, they just do what they want. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Hope that cleared up some of your questions. If you have some more, I'm sure I'm going to get to them. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you guys later.